Chiefs Kingdom. We've got a fun one for you guys today. Adam Schefter, in a recent article, has connected us to several major names in the trade market. We're going to look at a couple of those guys that he and other NFL insiders think the Chiefs could maybe make a move for over the next couple days and talk about which one I think we should go after. And then we're going to talk about some latest rumors popping up around one of our coaches. My name is Jackson Durham. You guys are watching the Chiefs Report by Chad Sports. Let's get right into this thing. All right, guys. So, like I said, we're talking trade rumors today, potential moves that this guy right here, Brett Veach, could make to improve the Kansas City Chiefs. But we got to answer a couple questions first. Before you make any big trade, you got to think about a few things. And here they are. Number one, where are we going in? What direction are we going in with this move? What positions could the Chiefs upgrade at? Where do we have major needs on the roster right now? And then beyond that, potential targets at each of these positions, guys that Adam Schefter has brought up and guys that I think could be good trade targets for us. And then lastly, from that group, I'm going to give you guys the player that I would most be interested in trading for, that I would most want to see Veach go out and get. If I could be Veach for one day, I'd have already made this move. And then lastly, like I said, we've got some interesting rumors to address around one of our coaches. He's been popping up in the coaching cycle over the last few days. So like I said, we got to talk about the positions the Chiefs could upgrade. Two make sense to me at this point. And the first one, this one should be pretty obvious if you've watched our defense right now. But, well, actually, first, I want to hear from you guys. What position do you guys think we should upgrade at? Because there's two that come up to me, one on defense and one on offense. And I'll tell you them both in 1 second, but I want to hear from you guys first. Get down there in the comments and let me know what position on our roster is the biggest need for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think a lot of you guys should be saying defensive line. Whether it's edge defender or in the interior, our depth along the defensive line and the production we've got from our top end group just isn't there right now. It doesn't look that bad on paper. If you just look at the stats, we're kind of in the middle of the pack in most pressure statistics, but there's a reason for that. Our pressure rate is 11th at 36%, but our blitz rate is 9th in the NFL at 31.3%, and the games where we've gotten the most pressure have been the games where we have blitzed like hell. And Steve Spagnuolo loves to blitz, but I have a bit of a problem with us sending the house as much as we do. And it relates to that final statistic on this chart, because if you can't get pressure without blitzing, just a simple math equation, you're going to have a bad passing defense. You are dropping more players out of pass coverage, bringing guys into the box to play as pass rushers, or whether you're rushing from the secondary, which we frequently like to do, guys have to come out of pass coverage and become pass rushers. And quarterbacks who can handle the blitz can make easy work of your defense. And we've seen that over the last couple games. We've seen quarterbacks really have a lot of success against our defense. And it's not just one of these guys. Look at the last 3 games, and all 3 of these guys are pretty solid quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence definitely being the worst of the group, but all 3 solid QBs, and all 3 of them torched us. We allowed these 3 guys combined to complete 74.3% of their passes, north of 74, almost 3/4 of everything that came out of their hands was completed to a receiver, and they were all pretty efficient as well. If you can't get pressure, you cannot affect quarterbacks, and quarterbacks have been too comfortable against our defense. It's making our secondary look really bad, and I don't want that for guys like Nohl Williams, and Shamari Connor certainly doesn't need anybody's help to make him look bad. I think we all know that. Let's move on to the other position that I think we could upgrade at, and that's in the running back room. And I will say, the running game has picked up over the last couple weeks, but overall, guys, do we want to be in a position where every time we play on prime time and every time we play period, it's becoming a bigger and bigger narrative that Patrick Mahomes is our leading rusher? And when you look at the averages here, Pacheco is finally getting close to taking him over in that statistic. He should do it next week unless Mahomes goes off as a runner again, or Pacheco's just not a huge factor. But the average splits are still pretty bad. Patrick Mahomes is the only guy on our team averaging north of 4.5 yards per carry, and explosive runs have been the biggest issue. We've talked about this time and time again. We did a video where we talked about trading for Breece Hall a couple weeks ago, and I hammered on this point, and it hasn't really improved. We've been more consistent with getting short yardage gains, but explosiveness is lacking in this run game. We have over 108 attempts from our running backs this season. Just one of them has resulted in a carry of more than 20 yards. That's abysmal. It's absolutely abysmal. There's really no two ways about that. But that's why I think we could make an upgrade at this position. That's why I think we could make a trade, and that would really improve our offense, in my opinion. It would give us that explosiveness. And if the Chiefs do make a trade, guys, we're going to be right here for you. We're going to make that video, so make sure you subscribe and make sure you turn on those notifications, because this is not something you guys are going to want to miss. Whether it's a small name, the smallest name in this video, we're going to make a trade. The biggest name in this video, the biggest name in this video, we're absolutely going to make a video if he comes over to Kansas City. No matter which one of these guys we end up trading for, we're going to have a video. And even if we don't make any trades at all this deadline, we're going to keep you up to date on Kansas City's news all season long. But let's get into a couple guys that could be realistic targets, starting in the edge group, starting on that defensive line. Number one, Keion White, Patriots edge defender. And guys, please don't get flashbacks to Josh Uche here. I promise you, he isn't Josh Uche. This is a true defensive lineman. We're not going to turn him into a stand-up linebacker. If we did that, that would be really, really bad. Uche had that kind of flexibility. This isn't going to go down that road. I promise you that. But I'm still not a huge fan of trading for Keion White. At this point in his NFL career, he's just not really done that much. This season, 63 snaps, just 3 pressures, 0 sacks, 0 QB hits. I think he has 2 hurries. He's not consistently disruptive. He's not a guy that I think would be a needle mover in the edge room, but he is certainly an option, and he'd absolutely be the cheapest option, maybe of all of the trade targets, regardless of position we're going to discuss in this video. I think we could probably get him for a swap of late-round draft picks. So what you can think of with Keion White is he's dirt cheap, but he probably doesn't move the needle. You get what you pay for in the Keion White department. Let's talk about another guy, Cam Jordan. And I know, guys, he's a little bit older. He's getting up there, but he's still a pretty effective player at this point in his career. Cam Jordan is still a disruptive edge in the pass rushing game. He's still a great run defender, and the stats back that up. If you look at his numbers, his advanced statistics, he's significantly better than Keion White. He's been much more disruptive than White has this season. 163 snaps. He's averaging almost a 10% pressure rate. He's got 2 sacks. And like I said, run defense has been his calling card this season, something he's kind of improved in his game. He's aging like fine wine in that department. At 36 years old, he has 10 stops on 100 run defense snaps. So a really solid option there. Someone that I don't think, again, isn't going to come in and be a superstar for you, isn't going to come in and take over your edge room, start getting a ton of sacks, but someone that could be a steady piece, someone that could just add that pressure and maybe get your starters a little bit more rest. Maybe they're more effective on their key reps if you have a better replacement guy to come in and relieve them like Cam Jordan. Lastly, the big flashy name, the name I know you guys were waiting for, Trey Hendrickson. This would be really fun if we traded for Trey Hendrickson. And I know some of you guys are thinking, didn't he just get hurt? Didn't Trey Hendrickson just get carted off the field in week 6? He did, but he's okay. Apparently, according to Charlie Clifford, his back injury is not considered a long-term injury. He's honestly up in the air for this week 7 game on Thursday Night Football, which would have been completely out of the picture, or you would have thought it would have been completely out of the picture when he was getting carted off the field coming into a short week. No way he plays in week 7. Apparently, that's up in the air. So you shouldn't write him off from an injury perspective, and you absolutely should know, if you don't already, that this guy's one of the best edge defenders in the NFL, one of the best pass rushers in our league right now. Over the last 2 years, he's been the league's leader in sacks, 17.5 in each season, and then an 8-sack season in 2022. And in just 6 games this season, he's already got 4. This, like I said, would be a ton of fun. This would be the kind of piece that you could probably go win Super Bowls with this guy on your defense, but it's just not a realistic trade. I got to tell you guys, as much as I wish that it was, it simply is not. You're going to have to give up a ton of draft capital to go get him, but that's not really what makes it unrealistic. I think the Chiefs could do that. I think the Chiefs are in a position to mortgage that kind of capital, but we're not in a position for the cap of this. If you think about what you'd have to pay Trey Hendrickson, remember the big deal with him right now is that he wants a new long-term contract extension. That's going to probably weigh you out around $35 million a year. And we're sitting on just around $3 million in cap space this season and a whopping negative 49 in 2026. We've already got to work some cap magic without Trey Hendrickson in the picture. There's just unfortunately no way that you could bring him into the picture and have this work. It wouldn't be a good decision, in my opinion. And speaking of decisions, you and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. PrizePicks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the more on Patrick Mahomes' passing yards, his rushing yards, and his touchdowns. We talked about him leading the team in rushing. You can make some money on that, guys. And you can pick them all in the same lineup only on PrizePicks. Now you can also follow other PrizePicks players on the app as well. This is a feature I think is really cool directly in their feeds tab. You can copy their lineups in one click, whether it's a friend, one of our celebrity partners, or just someone whose picks you really like. Just hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feeds tab on PrizePicks. And guys, I got my PrizePicks lineup ready to go. This is your little feeds tab right here, checking out mine. We're going with the more on DK Metcalf's touchdowns, and we're also going the same direction on Ja'Marr Chase. These were demon picks, so multiplier is going to be really strong here. 2-pick power play. Tail me on this, fade me on this, whatever you do, just do it with our friends at PrizePicks because PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. They offer Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. Big shout out to PrizePicks once again. Let's talk some trade targets in the running back department. And our real ones knew this guy was coming. If you're a long-term follower of the channel, if you've watched our videos over the last couple weeks, you probably saw the one we did on making a move for Breece Hall. And you probably liked the idea because, not to toot my own horn, I think I made a pretty strong argument for why he would really improve our offense. And in the last couple of weeks, nothing's changed with Breece Hall, guys. He just gets better and better. 88 carries for 410 yards. He's averaging 4.7 per carry. And the breakaway percentage, the last time we talked about him, one of the biggest reasons why I think you would go out and get him because he is so explosive, because he's a running back who really does create those extra hard yards, something I think is missing from our offense, has actually improved. It was about 11.8 last time, 12.5 over the last couple of weeks. He's jumped that up to. That's because 200 of his 410 yards this season are coming off of breakaway runs alone. Think about that. This guy just constantly finds a way to turn 5 10-yard runs into 20 to 30-yard runs. And that's kind of the opposite of what we've been getting out of Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, who I feel consistently find a way to turn what should be 20-yard runs into 5 to 10-yard runs. And the other great thing you get with Breece Hall, he's not just a weapon in the run game. He's also a strong weapon in the receiving game. 17 receptions for 150 yards. He's very efficient in that department. He would really elevate our offense. Man, I would love to see Patrick Mahomes have a guy like this in the backfield with him. And he's made it pretty clear he wants the heck out of Dodge in New York. He posted on Instagram this weekend, free 20. This guy does not want to be a Jet. Let's bring him to Kansas City where he can finally win some football games. I think it's good for both parties. Number 2, Alvin Kamara, the Saints running back. And this is another guy like the other player from the Saints we talked about who is definitely getting up there in age, but remains a consistent, really good player. He's a solid running back in the NFL, despite being, I want to say he's 30 at this point in his career, but still very good. And like Breece Hall, he's versatile. You get the receiving element with him as well. Not quite as much. I think he's a little bit more limited in both capacities than Breece Hall, being 5 years older than he is, having a lot more wear on the legs. And the other thing that comes with Alvin Kamara is a bit of a hefty contract. We'd have to give Breece a new one down the line, something I think maybe you cross that bridge when you get there with Breece. You see how he plays this season in Kansas City. But with Alvin, given that he's not on a rookie deal, given that the Saints have already given him an extension, he comes with some cap complications for them. I'm honestly surprised he's been brought up as much as he has by as many pundits as he has, because there's a big glaring issue for New Orleans with trading him. Well, really two big glaring issues for New Orleans with trading him. Number one, he has no interest in leaving. He made it very clear to Mickey Loomis when approached about a trade that he doesn't want to go, that he likes being in New Orleans, that he feels this is where he belongs. And honestly, I don't think the team wants to lose him. He's a strong leader in that locker room. He's a franchise player. And the other reason they don't want to trade him, it just doesn't make any sense financially for them. They're accelerating a $15 million dead cap hit onto next year's cap while just saving about $3 million on this season's cap if they move off of Alvin at this point, guys. That just doesn't make any sense. You wouldn't do that to yourselves unless the Chiefs came in with a premium draft capital offer. And does anybody out there want to trade a third-round draft pick for Alvin Kamara at this point? I don't know. Let me know, though, guys. We've got two options here. We've got Breece Hall. We've got Alvin Kamara. I think I've made strong arguments for the positives and maybe some of the negatives of trading for both of them. But I'm going to tell you, I think we've got one best clear move. It's Breece Hall, guys. It's Breece Hall. Across all the positions we could trade for, adding Breece is going to move the needle the most for our team. While we could add Keion White, while we could add Cam Jordan in the edge department, I just don't think making a move along the defensive line when those are the realistic options is the right direction to go in. I think if Brett Veach wants to make a trade, the trade that's really going to help Kansas City win football games right now is this one right here. It's swapping for Breece Hall. It's sending a mid-round draft pick in next year, whether that's a fourth or a third, depending on what New York ends up wanting to get for him. I think you could get this done for a fourth-round pick, though, and going to get an explosive running back that elevates this football team right now. A player that you could keep around if you want to, but honestly, that is here to win us a Super Bowl this season. Because I think that's the kind of potential this offense has if you add that weapon, plus Rashee Rice coming back this week as well. But let me know, guys, who would you trade for? You're Brett Veach for the day. Are you making the move for Breece Hall, or are you making the move for Alvin Kamara? Or if it's somebody else entirely, if you want to go in the edge direction, explain why you would do that in the comments. Let me know why I'm wrong. But I promised you guys some rumors around a Kansas City head coach potentially getting scooped up, and his name is Matt Nagy. That's our offensive coordinator. And the Titans, if you missed it yesterday, we had some breaking news. They became the first team this year to fire their head coach. They said goodbye to Brian Callahan after a 4-19 tenure over his 2 years in Tennessee, or really more 1.5 years in Tennessee. And Ian Rappaport says among the names to watch, Arthur Smith, their Titans offensive coordinator, and Chiefs offensive coordinator Matt Nagy. This is interesting. It absolutely is. I honestly wouldn't be terribly opposed to seeing Nagy go. I think Nagy does have his issues, but this is something we're going to keep an eye on for you guys over the next couple days, and it's honestly something I wouldn't get too worked up about right now. We're going to see a ton of names come up in the Titans coaching search over the next couple of weeks. It is going to be the only coaching search going on, I think, for at least the next two. We'll see what the Dolphins end up doing. And that means it's going to dominate the media circuit. You're going to see a lot of names come up in this conversation. You're going to see a lot of discussion over it in total. But if Nagy continues to be a consistent theme here, if Nagy does really seem like there's real momentum towards him in Kansas, or towards him to Tennessee, you know where to stay for the updates on it, guys. Subscribe to the Chiefs Report today, because no matter what happens with Kansas City, whether Nagy ends up going to Tennessee, whether he stays right here winning more Super Bowls with us, we're going to keep you up to date. Subscribe today. Thank you for making it to this point in the video, and we will see you next time.